I was concerned that we might not be able to hold the event this year, but thanks to the ingenuity of my colleague Anne-Marie Rocks and a number of other key stakeholders at the Brain Injury Network Group and the Edinburgh Headway Group, we made it. I want to thank everyone for the hard work in enabling today to go ahead and not to be beaten by this virus, which seems to be causing so much chaos throughout the world. Before I go on, but I would like to pay tribute to my colleague Anne-Marie, who has put so much work in to today. Anne-Marie joined Digby Brown as maternity cover for Kirsten Smith in March, just as the country went into lockdown, and so has had to work for her entire time with Digby Brown remotely to try and put on the event that she's never been at or never seen before. So it's been a hard few months for her, but I'm sure you will see the benefits of her hard work today. So thank you, Anne-Marie. I'd also like to say a special thank you to our IT director, Graham Agnew, and Jacqueline Patterson from our IT team, who are behind the scenes making today run smoothly. And finally, a thanks to Susan Lowry and Sam White in our marketing department for all of the background work that's gone on to promote today. This morning, we will look at a decade of development, and this afternoon, we will look at the road to recovery. You will hear from a number of excellent speakers who will unpack these topics for you. I'd also like to take a moment to recognise one of our speakers, Simon Glenn, who presented at our first ever event 10 years ago. Simon still looks as youthful as he did first time he presented. I'd also like to thank all of our speakers for giving up their time today. We are pleased that so many people have signed up to today's event from the comfort of your own home. I understand that we have over 160 people signed in. In addition to a strong turnout from the Central Belt, we're delighted to welcome delegates from all corners of Scotland who are maybe attending for the first time. As I mentioned, we held our first Head Injury Information Day in 2011 in conjunction with the Brain Injury Network Group, or BING. For those of you who aren't aware, BING is made up of a group of professionals who all work with and support people living with an acquired brain injury, and we are indebted to them for their continued support and contribution to this event. Without them, today would just not be possible. As I say every year, Digby Brown organises this event primarily to raise awareness of the many services that exist across Scotland and to help those living with an acquired brain injury. As the largest personal injury firm in Scotland with 7 offices across the country, we are the only firm to have a dedicated team of solicitors who deal with cases involving clients with a serious brain or spinal cord injury. And this means we see firsthand the difficulties faced by people who have suffered an acquired brain injury and their families and their carers. We firmly believe in the importance of giving something back to the communities where we work. And this is why we run today. So we hope today highlights and lets you see all of the fantastic organisations who work in the acquired brain injury community. So that's enough for me for just now. I'd like to pass over to my colleague Anne-Marie, who will give you some more information on the great day that we have in store for you. And I look forward to presenting to you later on today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chris. Just before I hand you over to our first speaker, Chris Bryant, just to give you a couple of hints and tips of the day. On your right-hand side, you will see a panel, and it's a Q&A panel. I think you could have a better experience if you just minimise that. But at any time, if you're wanting to ask a question, there's a circle on your screen with 3 small dots. If you just click that, at the very top, you can reopen your Q&A panel. In the drop-down box, you can direct your question to anyone, but I would ask that you direct your question to myself so as it does not distract any of the speakers when they're speaking. And that way I can ask questions if we have time at the end. Also as well, I'd like to put out a big thank you to lots of different charities and organisations we work with. They have managed to provide some small wellbeing activities that are now live on our HIID directory website. So pop along at some point and have a look at them. I'm certainly going to have a go at the gardening tips because I'm terrible. So other than the questions that you can ask and all the other activities that are available, There's also some from our exhibitors. Normally in person we have between 30 to 40 exhibitors attend in person, and they've been really sad that they're not able to be there this year, but they promise that they're going to come back bigger and better next year. Um, some of them who had the capacity to have recorded a short clip, and that's also available on the website as well. And a thank you to all the exhibitors that were meant to be here this year, but they will be back next year. So I think that's me for the moment. Nothing else for me to say.